toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Are you using the same microphone? I'm
I-
trying to do
it's
business on the podcast.
Okay.
Not Todd. I'm now complaining about Barry.
Oh.
You sound low.
I always use the good microphone for Audacity and the bad microphone for Zoom.
Okay, that's why you sound low. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Fair enough. Sorry, everyone.
I can speak up if you'd like. I can enunciate.
No,
well?
I just wanted to make sure that our viewing audience or listening audience has got the best possible situation.
I'm thrown off. I'm not used to talking without the weight of the beard holding my face in
There you
different
go.
positions.
That's what it is. Also, that's the other thing too. Is I think the beard probably added resonance to his voice.
Yes,
Yes.
it was like
You
an
know,
amplifier.
It was
have to make up for that.
Zeus-like. It was Zeus-like, and I think that's just
Yes,
it's just not
since
there.
this is an audio podcast, I will tell the listening audience I have shaved off my beard of 4.5 years. So we'll see how long it lasts. For right now, I'm baby-faced again.
Yes,
shorn.
he is. He looks 3 months younger. No, all good. Looks good. Good summer look.
Yeah.
All right, bunch of stuff today. Just follow along if you're still here with us. I'm going to jump in with something groundbreaking and like hot off the presses from last week. Solo writer Jonathan Kasdan. Todd, did you have this one?
No.
I don't think so. The writer of Solo has talked to Jon Favreau about the future of Kira in the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah, I did read this. Yep.
And
Oh, thank God.
Favreau's response was, with that nuanced performance, we can't see any way not to keep her in the universe. No, I didn't even read the article. I just read that headline and it made me chuckle.
I will say it again. She provides a very nuanced performance.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly. So
yeah,
I just
yeah.
wanted to get that out there.
So that was
And
your clickbait headline. I had a clickbait headline earlier in the day I sent to you guys that said, Tom Cruise dumps MCU star girlfriend Haley Atwell after a red carpet appearance.
And then what was the actual story?
The story went on to say that Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell are no longer seeing each other and that it
Yeah,
was...
which their relationship lasted exactly as long as their publicists said it should last.
Yeah, of course it did.
And yeah.
Well, I will say this. She did fly out to go to the red carpet premiere of Top Gun Maverick.
Again, probably really good for her. Okay.
Well, but
We hardly saw her, only on her Instagram.
well,
yeah, I know, but
again,
she
she's
was
got
there.
a publicist, and that's who makes these decisions.
But here's the weird thing, Todd.
He is much too old for her. She should not be with a man that age, unless it's me. And that's all I got.
Well, here's the weird thing, though. She's in Mission Impossible, the new Mission Impossible, and I think she might make it into the... Because aren't they filming 2 of them back to back?
Yeah, 7 and 8.
So either she's not in 8, or odd that they would let them break up, formally break up until after that movie came out. But we'll see.
This story's been bouncing around for like 3 months. Barry, you not only got clickbaited, you got old clickbaited. It's like somebody just dusted this story off and got like 5 more people to
Whatever.
look at
I
it.
see Haley Atwell, and I have to click at least to
believe
see
me,
the
I
picture.
understand the allure. I do. and you know,
Can I give an update to an earlier story?
and having her break away from that
Earlier
old
meeting
fossil,
like the one you mentioned
that's
3
like
minutes
a
ago.
human interest story. Yeah. Yep.
I didn't have my headphones plugged in. That's why you sound the way different than me.
All right, so it wasn't me. It wasn't my beard.
No, it
was
wasn't you. And I noticed because I'm like, on my Audacity wave, I'm like, what is all that stuff while I'm not talking? That was you guys talking. So anyway, the first 4 minutes of my track probably sounds crappy. So just
been
whatever,
there, done that.
everybody. Yeah. Barry, what do you got?
At least you don't have to re-record it.
No, we're not going to.
We're not going there. So I don't have much this week. I've been very busy, but I had one thing that I thought was a little odd. An article that was posted on StarWars.net today says that they're going to release all 6 episodes of Obi-Wan as an in-theaters event the same day as the last episode air. So that would be June 22nd, which is right around the corner. It's listed as a 5.5...
Okay, I keep forgetting what date it is. There's 2 more left. There's
2 more left, but yeah, I'm saying the last episode airs June 22nd. They said that this is listed as a limited theatrical engagement in Cineplex theaters, and that there'll be a Q&A, and that it's like a 5 hour and 20 minute runtime.
Wow, that's a commitment, and that really
throws
the theaters.
They don't have any details because the article that I saw said they don't know if they're editing it together to make it feel like one long movie, or if it's just the 5 episodes with all the credits and all the whatever.
And if 6 episodes, right?
Yeah, 6 episodes.
And why would you do that? Why would you sit with a bunch of strangers?
Because they're desperately trying to get people back into theaters.
And you say Q&A. You think it's a recorded Q&A?
I think it would have to be a recorded Q&A.
Or is there going to be select theaters different cast members show up?
It didn't have any of those details, but it says that it could be a recorded Q&A, I guess. I don't know. The whole thing's weird to me.
It's funny. It made me think because we've gone to what's that? We've gone to that Tribeca Film Festival this year. They're doing The Godfather with a Al Pacino Q&A at a theater.
Cool. Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm like I should go, but then it's starts at 7. There's a Q&A in the beginning, and then there's a 3+ hour movie, and then it's all night long. So I decided not to.
That's a long.
I did that I've done that with a couple, but that would be cool. But it'd be interesting if Ewan McGregor's showing up at the Alamo Draft House in Yonkers.
It's like when we went to see Aliens that time with Sigourney Weaver.
That's
had the
the
Q&A.
one I was thinking. Yeah, that was great.
That was a lot.
That
of
was
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
and I saw the Spinal Tap with the same kind of deal. That's Sigourney Weaver one was cool. And I walk. My office is across the street from there, and I always look at. They have the little marquee. I'm like, is there anything really cool like that showing up? Because Ron Howard was there during COVID with his brother promoting that book. That if I was in the city still at the time, I would have gone to see that. That would have been cool. Yeah,
I'm hoping that more of these things start popping up again. I mean, like that time we went to the J.J. Abrams book signing, and that's all
Tribeca.
Really cool.
Oh, the book signing.
Yeah. I mean, the Tribeca, the interviews that we got to see, the J.J. interview and the George Lucas interviews were great too. But...
Yeah, that was Tribeca. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, cool. I don't know. It's funny. Like Spider-Man is coming back in the theaters with added
more
stuff,
footage.
They said it's 30 minutes of deleted scenes edited back in.
I'm not going to theaters to see that.
No,
and that's the kind of thing. When I saw this, I was like, man, I wish that was something you put on Disney Plus, because I would totally rewatch that.
They probably will though.
No, but I'm saying released on that way. I would watch it that way, and for a third.
Yeah,
time.
maybe they will though. That's what's cool about that stuff, because even Doctor Strange is coming on. Is it this week?
Yeah, it's soon. I know it's soon. And they did that with the IMAX cuts of some of the Marvel movies. They put them on Disney Plus. So listen, that's what we're all paying for Disney Plus. All that stuff should end up there.
Yeah, and Morbius is coming back in the theaters, which is awesome.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I watched that on the plane on the way back. That was.
I have yet to watch that one, but I will. Yeah. We should talk about it at some point, right? Maybe a Disasterpiece Theater.
Wait 6 months until you have absolutely nothing to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, while we're talking about movies and theaters, anybody care about Jurassic World Dominion? Either of you guys going to see it?
I think I might go see it tomorrow night.
Mark wants to see it.
It's $5 Tuesday, and
I'll
I might go see it.
I'll have him drive up and meet you.
Have you read anything about it?
Unfortunately, I've heard a couple of little things, and I've heard it's not good.
30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh. Yeah, that's worth $5. So.
Yeah, I'm. My parents will never listen to this ever, so I can say this. My parents are coming in to stay with us for 10 days. I'm going to need something to do. I'm going to need a reason to get out of the house. So I'll probably go see it at some point while they're here. But yeah, I don't have high hopes for it. I mean, I didn't love the last one either. So
but then they brought. I thought the first one was pretty good. The first new one.
Yeah, me too.
And then The second one wasn't really good, but they brought back the first director.
Yeah,
and I watched the second one. What happened?
It had the whole dinosaur auction thing, which was weird, and the kid that they were cloning the kid or something. I don't know.
Were they cloning the kid?
I think that. Kid
that's
was
right.
a clone.
Yes, yeah. In the
It wasn't great.
Okay, I do remember that. It was terrible. Yeah.
I like Bryce Dallas Howard though. She's fun to look at.
I don't know if she's.
I don't. Yeah, I know. But you know,
I don't know if she's in it as much as in the first one.
You got to support. You got to support the people you like.
Yeah. I like Bryce. I like Chris Pratt. I like the idea that the original cast is in it.
I'm a big fan of Blue.
Yeah, me too.
Blue's my favorite dinosaur.
Yeah.
But that whole original cast thing. Now you're dealing with 5 people or more, and you got to be able to handle that. And some people don't do that very well. Some people do it well.
If they can bring back the originals and treat them with as much respect and love as they did in the Star Wars sequels, then it should be good.
Okay, and on that note,
I just think it's tricky to.
Yeah, no, it is. It is because they're not.
Yeah.
At this age, they're not action stars, and so you can't have the running and the screaming.
There's a time jump, I think, too. I think it takes place a bunch of years after the last one.
Yeah. So
that means
So today, a bunch of character posters were released for Thor: Love and Thunder. Did you guys see
some of those? Yeah, I did see them.
So we got so here we got Lady Thor. That's good.
Can't really see that.
And Thor, Korg. We got here. So let's see. Before Thor, here we have Batman. Okay, and then Superman's father also. Yeah, he's in there now too.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite so far. Oh, wait a minute. Yep. Thor's goats. Okay.
Yeah, that one I saw. I was like, "What is up with the goats?"
Yeah.
I just think this thing is going to be nuts, and it's going to be great.
Oh yeah.
I saw a headline. Go ahead, Todd.
I after Ragnarok, I just I'll take what they do. It's its own thing.
I think after Ragnarok and then the popularity he's gained, it's just going to be even more nuts. I think he's going to be
the whole
just go
fat
for
Thor
it.
thing and all that, and they're playing off that. And what the hell's it called? Endgame was on last night and
tonight and tomorrow.
Well, but it was Infinity War and then Endgame. I was literally watching. I watched for 4 hours yesterday with commercials just because it's so.
Which I have only once
so good.
Stopped doing that and put in the DVD.
Oh, I could just switch to Disney Plus and put them on in 4K
know.
with no commercials.
It makes it. I don't know why we do
But
that.
those
I have
movies
caught
are
myself
so
doing that with
good.
Indie 3 or 4 times, where I was just going by and it was on TV. I was like, oh,
It was on this weekend too.
I'm just gonna watch the commercial, and then you watch through the commercial.
Well, Maria's got a running joke when she turns the TV on the weekend. She's like, "Well, it's either going to be Star Wars, or it's going to be Harry Potter, or it's going to be Marvel."
Yeah, it's
And
true.
Return of the
It's
Jedi's
true.
been on.
Yesterday, Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
Return of the Jedi was on, and then when it ended, it went right into to Infinity War. And I was like, "There you go, it's perfect
Crazy.
trifecta."
So Evan is slowly working his way through the Marvel movies because he didn't. Well, he saw a few of them sporadically, but he didn't see all of them. And he was home this past week, and we got to watch Civil War together. And I don't know how you can claim that is not an Avengers film. I mean, it's I know the timing in the arc made it a Captain America film.
I never consider it a Captain America movie,
but it is a really, really good Avengers film. And it's still, every time I watch that film, something else, because it so defied expectations that I think you took it for what it was at the time. But when you rewatch it, Russo brothers did such a great job with that film, and there's so much packed into that. But also, it is the only effective villain in the entire Marvel universe. Is the only villain who actually achieved what he set out to do in every single one of those movies, and just really, really good story. But
Thanos did too, but then they fixed it.
What's that?
Thanos did too, but then they fixed it.
But again, that's what I'm saying. There was a reset. So,
just going back to Love and Thunder for a second, I saw an article today. It was another clickbait article, but I clicked it. They were talking about how it's one of the shortest runtimes of any recent Marvel movie. and it clocks in at 119 minutes, so it's not short.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. Yeah,
it's
that's
2
not
hours,
too short,
but they were saying that I guess there was one movie that was 117 minutes recently, so it's not the shortest. I was like, this is the dumbest article I've ever read. But anyway, my point being, it's a 2 hour movie. So.
Huh. Interesting.
Which is a fine runtime. They don't all have to be 3 hours long.
I don't mind the long movie. If it's good.
If it's good.
That's the key. I saw, and I don't know if when it came out of Celebration or I don't think we talked about it, but it sort of listed the release dates of the next bunch of Star Wars stuff, and it said at the end the Taika Waititi Star Wars project end of 23 release.
That's what they said, but when I saw an interview with Taika like last week, he said he's still working on the story. So how are they going to? I know.
I just thought that was like really
final story casted, pre-production
done in the volume. All the characters are CGI.
That may be the only way you get something out by the end of next year.
It's done in a weekend. It's like the term paper that you should have written that you didn't get done.
I also I don't care if it takes 5 years from now, just as long as it's good. I don't rush out a Star Wars movie that's not worthy.
And I will also say that this next movie has got to establish a direction of some kind for them, because it's all TV right now. And I mean, TV is defining things. So if this is just a expanded TV episode,
no, they've got to really go for it. They can't jerk around.
And didn't they recently say that Rise of Skywalker was the end of the Skywalker saga? Even though we've now seen Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, and we've seen him in the Book of Boba Fett, and we're seeing Anakin.
That's still in the story.
That's the linear end. So now they can go back and tell everything that happened before then, without recasting anyone except as children, because there's an escape clause in everything they say.
I get it, but and listen, I said it at the time. Why do you have to end the Skywalker saga? These are the characters that we know and love, but they do have to at some point go off in another direction if they're going to keep this thing vital for the next 50 years.
Yeah, I think they're still figuring that out. And you know who you don't have to figure out anything about? Fanboy Collectibles. A lot of stuff. Here's something interesting, and I even appreciate it. 89 Batman cowl replica.
I thought about you in
awesome.
That. I thought you might need that.
Yeah. I love a Batman cowl, even though that's not my favorite movie. I do love a Batman cowl, and that's cool.
It's a cool-looking cowl, and it's got that awesome emblem, too.
Yeah. That's super interesting.
The other thing that's cool with it is you see like the plinth that it stands on?
Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of stuff.
It's actually like
a
statue in of itself, so that when you take it off, it's just very cool.
Yeah. X06. Sorry, Brian Savage. Burnham releasing Burnham now. They're jumping to her, which is awesome. Check that out.
Super detailed, by the way. I took a close look at that, and actually there was
interesting Burnham choice too. This is like
Burnham
first season.
No, but I'm saying this is Mutineer Burnham. So it's like no, I'm sorry. She'd be wearing gold. When she was right.
It was probably first season her, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this is on the Discovery Burnham. Okay, yeah. So I guess that makes sense. I was thinking when I first looked at it, I was thinking the Shenzhou Burnham, which was the Mutineer. So yeah. Okay.
It's a great figure. Buy it from Fanboy Collectibles.
There you go. Oh yeah. Hot Toys Boba Fett's are in stock.
Yes.
Whether it's the deluxe or the non-deluxe.
1-pack or 2-pack. Get them both.
Yeah, check them out. Those are in stock. They got everything. Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys. And it's Father's Day. Tell your kids, this is where you need to buy me something.
Totally.
So check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out online or check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe's sent you. So speaking of Obi-Wan... I know I texted you guys. I felt like I needed a download after the episode, and I'm sorry we never got to that. But spoilers, everybody. If you haven't seen it, you should be ashamed of yourself. But episode 4. So I guess they're doing this progression of he really is struggling with the Force, and then he's getting stronger. And we saw that it sort of. I happen to enjoy this episode the most. And we're not going to do a whole download on this episode, but. I felt it was really tight. and I liked seeing him get his powers back. But how much were you wishing that he would crush the probe droid like Luke crushed those black robot guys?
I thought that myself.
But then again, he's not up to it, I guess.
Well, but also, like, these are muscles, and if you don't use them, they have to. But I think it's coming back really quickly. It's like some of those hallway fights, where he was taking the guys down. Right and left.
He was deflecting blaster bolts and
holding back the water.
By the end of it, he held back the water. I thought you could have called this episode how Obi-Wan got his mojo back. I mean, it was like it started out with he could barely move that thing, and by the end of it,
and I guess it makes sense. I really want. I mean, I guess ultimately because you tune back into Revenge of the Sith and the way they fought. He's got to get back to that to face Vader for real.
Well, we also saw in that episode we saw a Vader moving faster than we've ever seen him move ever in anything. Like when he comes charging into that room and lifts Reva up in the air from 20 feet away.
There was some fast Vader in Rogue One.
But
he was walking down a hallway.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying.
Saber.
This felt a lot more like that than.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Vader of Star Wars is just too slow. I mean, to me, the Jedi have been established as, Phantom Menace, and I can't accept anything less than that. And that's what we saw.
That Vader is more machine than man now. So he's not a fully functioning Jedi.
By the original trilogy, he's probably at 20% more scar tissue. So it's like I can sympathize with that. He's going to move slow.
I get that. But then the Luke we saw in the Mandalorian and the Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. That's what I want. And the Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I don't know. I hope we're not going to be disappointed.
And I was surprised how far they took torturing a child in this episode. Like they didn't actually torture her, but
many how many experiences that Leia has in Star Wars actually mirror these childhood experiences. Being captured, brought in there, having the little needle pointy things and stuff like that. And
it was even the same sound effect as that
she had to reveal.
Why would she be scared of that in Star Wars?
It's like in Star Wars, they got to like retcon it. Have her say, seriously, this shit again?
I will say this though: there was a moment right early on in the episode where Reva referred to Ben as Obi-Wan in front of Leia, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, I really believed up until that moment that this whole series, they were going to refer to him as Ben in front of her, and she wasn't going to know that Obi-Wan and Ben were the same person. But now, clearly, they've told her that.
They're going to do the little-known Jedi mind wipe.
Well, I
why wouldn't she know that?
Because every time that he told her his name was Ben, and anytime somebody called him Obi-Wan, she wasn't there up until this episode.
Oh, so you were clinging to why she doesn't seem to know him when she leaves the message.
That's right.
The message is like a formal request.
Yeah.
Handed on.
You help my
father.
Yeah.
Handed on.
I don't know. It seems
the language
so impersonal.
No, it's impersonal. But again, she's a diplomat. She's handing off this message from her father, citing his association with her and the debt. I don't know. What they should fall back on.
I think when you're 10 years old and this Jedi Master rescues you, you don't say you fought with my father in the Clone Wars. You say you saved my life when I was 10 and I need you now.
And if this ends with him saying, "Don't ever call me again,"
well, I believe that they will address it.
I have to look after Luke. Don't call me again. Okay?
I think they'll address it.
This is one time only. I'm not going to do it again. And that's why that's why you have Leia do it instead of.
I have two theories. One is when they made that movie, they didn't know they were making this TV show. So get over yourselves. One, every Star Wars fan out there, and two, maybe Leia knows enough. Like, look, we can't share our experiences because you know where I am, and so even in a communique that could get intercepted. You can't say, like, oh, my old friend Ben.
No, that's possible.
My old friend Obi-Wan.
We'll see. I don't think that they're going to leave it as a loose end. I really don't. Because the fact that the Grand Inquisitor seems to have died even though we know he is alive in the future in Rebels episodes, the writer of the show has said, we're well aware of continuity. We have not broken continuity. So,
I think they're going to open like a closet, and there's going to be 12 more Grand Inquisitors, and they're going to take the next one out, put batteries in.
Something's going to... So my point being, I don't think... Dave Filoni isn't somebody who... And he was involved in this.
He's not going to step on his own dick.
He's not somebody who's going to step on that and not address it somehow. Make sure it gets wrapped up. So.
And it's, that's so funny. Like, any single thing is got a microscope on it no matter what. They're like, oh my God, how could they, like... It's just a freaking,
one of the best things that they ever did in A New Hope was Vader never finishes the sentence. Like, he runs out of the room when he's like, this is something I've not felt since. And he runs out of the room. Like,
since 2022.
He never finishes the sentence. So, it leaves it open for total interpretation, which is great. One of the great things that Lucas did was not wrap everything up in a bow back when he made the first movie.
Yeah.
Not that he did that on purpose necessarily, but it worked out.
Made Ben an unrepentant liar.
Well, he has, but he did. He set Ben up from the first movie to say from a certain point of view. Like, Ben knew he was telling Luke half truths.
Oh, no. Barry, you were never going to get me to believe they had any idea that Luke's father was Darth Vader when they made that first film.
Oh,
I'm not saying that they did or didn't. I'm saying that they set Obi-Wan up from the beginning as somebody who was telling Luke what they thought he needed to know.
Yes. No question.
Wait.
Just as
you don't think when they made
Obi-Wan,
Star Wars,
she was triggering Obi-Wan. He was setting up Luke. There's no question about that. But like I said, I would love to hear that story sometime. There had to have been at some point when they were sitting around throwing out ideas for the next movie. That had to have been like the coolest epiphany moment ever. We never really said it couldn't be,
Perry, do you not believe they knew that? I believe he wrote that like 9-movie arc.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but when Maria and I were watching the end of Return of the Jedi the other night, we were talking about it, and I don't know. I think that they got lucky that they left some of that stuff open, but Yoda and Ben didn't want Luke to redeem Vader. They wanted him to kill Vader. Like, there was never any intention on their part that, Anakin could be turned back or he could be saved or he could be redeemed. They were like, no, if you don't go kill him, then the Emperor's already won.
And
I don't know about
the plan
that.
was also
they said
through
face
most of
him.
the movie to kill Darth Vader. So numerous people have said that. So it's just like I said. I think it's great how it meshes all together, and I think and I'm really impressed whenever they figure out a way of tying these things together, because it's done. They're filling plot holes and they're working it out retroactively. But
here's something that I actually thought when I was watching Return of the Jedi yesterday. How does Vader figure out that Luke is his son? He just senses it?
Oh no. They had like spies and stuff. Traced, again, they gathered all the information about who the rebels were and who was involved. And again, this was a huge deal, and the rebels made a big PR deal out of it because this was a great victory. And here's this random kid who joined the rebels and then saved the universe. It's like, Skywalker. I know that name. Wait a minute. No, I think I don't think he sensed him because there was no.
He sensed the Force in him in the trench.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, he says the Force is strong with this one, but he doesn't go, "Oh shit, that's my son."
Well, he doesn't know he has a son. I have the feeling that once he finds out the kid's named Skywalker, a lot of pieces fall into place.
That is something that you want to know. That would make an interesting movie between Star Wars and Empire. Like a Vader movie between those movies would be interesting, because there's a lot that goes on. Or even anything, a whole,
Well, and I think that's the longer stretch of time between A New Hope and
3
Empire.
years.
Yeah, the time between Empire and Jedi is shorter.
If they had balls to do that, and someone that's really good, like maybe, I don't know if it's Taika, it may be like the Russo brothers or somebody, like to do a movie in between those two, that would be interesting, because I think
on
there's
Vader
a lot,
so that you don't have to deal with any of the legacy characters.
Yeah, but they're so concerned with sequels and prequels, but there's a lot going on between those two movies.
The Marvel Vader comics have actually been very good. I haven't read all of them, but they've been good. And, and basically what they play off is the idea that his position with the Emperor is basically as secure as the last thing that he was successful with. There are a lot of people trying to undermine him and take him out and stuff. And so, yeah, there's a lot they could play with there.
Well, let's face it, once the Emperor finds out that there is a younger, healthier Skywalker out there, he basically wants him brought in so that he can take Vader's place.
Right. Yeah.
The Emperor's got no love for Vader. He's just, the next
tool.
Yeah, totally.
It just smells like wet leather.
Burnt.
Smells like rotting flesh
Bacon
and
wrapped
leather.
in wet leather, yeah. All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Okay, just before we... I think that's... I got to say, I think each episode of Kenobi has been better than the one before. And I hope that continues for the next two. I really do.
I'm loving it. I think that there's been a lot of negative... I won't call them fan reactions, but there's certainly a lot of negative reaction
Seriously?
out there. And I think that's just the internet. Well,
but
I gotta be honest, I didn't love the whole Vader Obi-Wan interaction. I don't know if that was needed at this point.
Oh, the original interaction?
Yeah.
In episode 2 or 3?
2.
Yeah.
I actually, Dave, I watched that twice, and I kind of came to the point of, I kind of looked at it from Obi-Wan's point of view, and he knew he could not survive a fight with Vader, and all his expectation was to stall him long enough for Leia to get away. And then how he's behaving and all his actions, and the fleeing and the popping back up, and it was just a delaying tactic with every expectation of being killed by this monster. And
I'm fine with all that, but I thought just the choices of Vader's chasing me. I ran around the corner. Now I'm walking. Like, seriously? It was just logistically. I felt the direction and the editing was a little.
And again, I took that as
weak.
he was basically trying to maneuver Vader in the opposite direction of Leia, and that was his goal. And part of that involved, like I said, letting him catch up, letting him catch up, so that he could get him further away.
That part bothered me less than how easy it seemed for Reva to catch Leia, when Leia seemed like she was pretty far down that tunnel, and Reva was at one end of it, and the next thing you know, she was at the other end of it. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said to my friend Mike over the weekend, I don't pick this stuff apart. I just want to enjoy it. I mean, I can easily pick it apart, but I won't.
It's pretty hard doing a Leia rescue from a Empire base and not have it just kind of feel like, oh, we've done this before. And I think they did a good job not feeling like that.
I agree with that. So. I don't know if we talked about this, but do you feel like, we all said this girl is very young for a 10-year-old. Do you think they did that to potentially have a second season? Because she looks like a 6-year-old to me.
No, she definitely comes across younger than 10.
Even the way she runs like a little kid, a little baby.
She does. And again, she's the age she's playing, but this was shot a while ago.
Exactly.
And again, like I said, if you told me this kid was 8, I would believe that. 10, I have a hard time with. But
I'm just curious if...
But Obi-Wan's supposed to be like 65 at this point, too. So
I'm just also wondering, I mean, they went into this from the beginning saying it was a 6-part event. I mean, would I put it past them to have another season of it? No.
What about the Leia Chronicles?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't
possible.
know, it just was odd. There's a million kids. Not that this kid's not good, but she just plays.
I will
she
say
just
she
comes
does
off
a
way too
really
young.
good job doing the defiant thing, and I think she does an excellent job acting. The only issue I have with that casting whatsoever is, like I said, I just don't buy her being a 10-year-old.
Yeah. In that first scene when she's running, that's when you really see her running from the bad guys. She looks like a toddler.
Short legs of a younger child.
Yeah, which is weird.
She's a growth spurt away from being the right size.
But maybe they're like, oh, we can't have the Will Robinson fiasco that we saw.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart to not want to have, kids aging in front of you on the screen. You want to be able to tell the story and have them seem like they're the same age. Although it was the same thing with Walt on Lost. It got to the point where they couldn't even use the character anymore because the kid was 6 feet tall.
I read an article one time about how they cast kids, and they like to cast kids with siblings, older siblings, so they can chart their growth patterns. Because
why don't we just genetically engineer kids who just stay young?
Then they have some idea what to expect.
That's actually funny.
It doesn't always work out, but if you get 3 older brothers or older sisters or whatever that underwent a growth spurt at this age, it's pretty likely that their genetics are going to be very, very similar. But yeah. I think Will Robinson is probably the worst case scenario.
Yeah. I also wonder though if they, if Ewan McGregor had such a good time doing this that he isn't like more interested by the end of it in doing more of it than he was at the beginning of it, or, I mean, seeing him at Celebration, he seemed genuinely super psyched about Star Wars again.
I think we have a good chunk of time to fill here. I also think that if they took a year off and we get another series in 2 years, and it's set 2.5 years later, I'd be fine with that. Something doesn't have to happen every week on Tatooine. They can go back to this anytime they want. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be, next season is coming, next year. Could be.
No, I'm okay with that too. That'd be fine. I kind of don't want to think that Obi-Wan is constantly off-world on adventures while he's supposed to be overwatching Luke. I mean, to me, that should be his focus anyway. There's for a planet that's the farthest from the center of the galaxy, there's an awful lot of stuff going on Tatooine. I think Luke needs to be watched over. It all comes
later. It all comes later. Yeah. There's nothing going on now. 10 years before Star Wars.
I guess.
I will tell you, but again, this also changes some of the whole idea of having him there. It's like, I'd be looking for another place to stash Luke at this point, given that the Inquisitors have already been on the planet, and, I don't know.
They came, they caught the guy, and they left, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe they're off cycle now or something. Obi-Wan. It's good.
I was trying to take it to Strange New Worlds for a minute, and that's okay. And I don't want to go super deep into it other than to just say, this is everything we hoped it would be, and then some. I'm loving this show. It's
Captain Bag
so
and
much
Alien
better.
Chick this week. We checked that box.
I know. I was psyched to see that. I mean, it's everything that we wanted Star Trek.
In an episode with a moral thing, the whole it's like moral.
And I'll say this plot,
and it wasn't resolved.
Plot twist that I knew something was coming, but didn't exactly know exactly what it was, and that was good. I like that there are a couple of threads that continue through episode to episode, but they're not the primary threads. So, like the doctor's daughter plot line, or the Uhura plot lines about sort of being a cadet. Like that to me is fine. Like, it doesn't need to be a continuing story episode to episode, but there are these little threads that continue to play out.
Okay, so
it's awesome.
Let me ask you this, and this is not Discovery bashing, but we know every single one of these characters in 6 episodes. Okay, now the legacy characters, you had some idea who they were to begin with, but these are different versions of those characters. You know who everyone is. Okay, it's not focused on 1 or 2 characters, and they do a really good job with the subplots. You see interpersonal relationships between them. You see, Mbenga's thing. You see Chapel's personality. I think they're just doing a great job with this as an ensemble drama. Within,
they definitely patterned it off the original series, where the other ones they did not.
No, and
the other one,
and you know what? The other thing too is, I like every single one of these characters for different reasons. You know, they've got their own kind of thing, different things, and like I said, I could not be happier with this show. I was surprised to see Lieutenant Kirk show up again. I thought when he got all messed up in the second episode, we just weren't going to hear from him again,
But I like that he showed up, but they never even mentioned who he was. So if you weren't paying attention,
he's just the guy in the mess hall.
Yeah,
and that's actually funny.
Yep, and I thought that was good. Again,
they made subtle changes to the Enterprise model from where it was in Discovery to where it is now. And I'm actually really excited that I held off on waiting to build that model because they are now releasing a new version of it that's the Strange New Worlds version that's got retooling to it from the kit that they released last year. So at some point, I'll be building an Enterprise from Strange New Worlds. Great show. Love it.
In this episode, I'm trying to look at a picture here. They call number one Lieutenant Commander, which
right, yep.
She's got Commander stripes though.
I don't think they're different. I agree with you. I've been trying to catch that. The other thing is like the security chief has red, braids, which is interesting. I just noticed.
Oh yeah, they're the color of the uniform,
and so the gold ones are on the gold,
and the blue are the blue silver.
The blue are blue, but they're like a shiny blue, and it's, but also you don't see it, and a lot of people don't have them, and like I said, so it takes a while for it. It's very very cool redesign of the costumes.
Okay, I was looking at it because I'm looking at Spock's costume that I took from the Paley Center. He's got a thick stripe and a thin stripe, and he's a lieutenant.
Yeah,
I would have thought a lieutenant was one thick stripe. I know I'm nerding out over this weird stuff, but
no, I think a lieutenant singular is one stripe. Lieutenant commander is a thin stripe, a thick stripe. Two thick stripes should be commander, right? Right.
That's what it was on Spock.
And then I'm saying a thin and a thick is lieutenant commander. That makes sense.
Okay,
you guys are both so sexy right now.
But what I'm saying is, then they've got the people wearing the wrong stripes. Spock's a lieutenant, not a lieutenant commander, and he wears a stripe and a half. Una is, they call her a lieutenant commander, yet she has two thick stripes.
She's also wearing gold, though, which is command color.
She's command.
Yeah.
But that makes no sense to me. What's up with that?
I'm sure there's a chart somewhere. Anyways.
I don't know. The video that you sent, Dave, to us the other day, it's out on YouTube. People should look for it. It's just like a 6-minute video. The prop master for the show is talking about how he made the phasers and the communicators and tricorders. And it's unbelievable. They made 6 hero phasers. They cost them $8,000 a piece, and they hand tooled them out of aluminum.
Out of aluminum. Now, I would pay $8,000 for one of those, because if one of those went up for auction, they'd go for $20,000. Easy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Easy.
But it was amazing to see him describing, and then they show they've got those rare earth magnets that hold the thing together. It's got a brain in it that's battery powered that does the lighting and the sound. And I love how they have the heavy aluminum ones to actually have the actors feel the weight of a real gun in their hand when they're nice. Shooting it, but otherwise they've got foam and rubber ones for just in the holster.
I know I've mentioned this before, but one of the things that drives me crazy is when they have on-screen objects that aren't the correct weight, and you know it. Like someone picks up a coffee cup, like a styrofoam coffee cup, and it weighs nothing, and you can tell the way it comes off the table that it weighs nothing. Or someone carrying a suitcase that's got nothing in it, and the way it's swinging on the handle, you can tell there's nothing in it. So having it weighted accurately is smart.
And we've seen a million videos of prop people talking about the props for movies and shows, but I've never in my life heard them talk about how much each one costs to make, which I thought was just fascinating. That's
interesting.
Yeah.
And to me, when you really get down to it, that's not that much money. I mean, $8,000, it sounds like a lot, but for props, I bet they spend way more on
screw up
props.
3 on a Tuesday, they're just not going to be happy. But Yeah, no, I think it's cool. Every time I watch an episode, I sit there at the end of it like, did this just happen? Was this really what, and there is an injection of Trek ethos in this thing that this is really somewhere in between. It's not, it's really in terms of how the characters are and the interaction, all this, it's somewhere between the original series and Next Generation in terms of like how they, the kind of the writing style and the way they tie everybody in together. I just think it's brilliant. It's just, but it feels Star Trek in every single pore of its existence. It's brilliant, and I'm amazed that they actually could still do this when we've had a lot of evidence to the contrary.
Well,
and it's renewed for a second season already, isn't it?
It is,
3.
yeah.
Three.
They're going to do 3. They're talking about 3 because the second season, I guess, is either about to wrap or has wrapped. Rebecca Romaine said that just had a thing on. I just read in an article where apparently something related to the Kirk scenes is very emotional, and she said she actually like teared up when she read it, and then when I actually did the scene, she said it was very emotional. So interesting to see where that might go. I mean, it could very well be is we're going to run into Kirk right after the loss of that ship. So
it's interesting that they're going to bring Kirk in. I don't think they need to do that.
Yeah,
but
I think it's going to be a different Kirk. I think it's going to be a little bit younger Kirk. By the way, did you pick up on the planetary system that they were in?
I did not know.
Okay, they were saying Magellan, and I was thinking like Magellan. The obviously the Explorer. No, when they flashed the name on screen, it was Majel A.N.
Uh-huh. That's funny.
So they named the system after Majel Barrett. So, yeah. But no one could quite pronounce it that way. But I thought that was very cool. Hey, since she's got 2 of her characters on screen, so.
Yeah. I liked when they were at Red Alert, how they had that Red Alert icon on both sides.
On screen, that's great.
Yeah,
it's like,
that was so cool.
Yep.
Little details like that are just great.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
All right, what else?
Let's while we're in space, let's talk about. Oh, by the way, people, spoilers.
Well, whatever.
Maybe Dave, you want to insert a spoiler warning, generic spoiler warning at the beginning of this episode. For All Mankind.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
the first episode came out, so by the time this goes live, 2 episodes will be out. We knew there would be a time jump again. They showed us that at the end of last season, so we knew we were going into the 90s. I'll be honest, I really liked this episode. There were some surprises in it that I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
I think it was called Polaris. I think it should have been called the Polaris Adventure. Okay.
It was a little bit like that, yeah. But there was some stuff in there that shocked me.
I was a little. I thought they'd take the first episode and sort of establish stuff, but they
reset
went right
things.
for
They
it.
went right into the crazy action, which was awesome. And I
They
did watch all of those newsreels. That
I did too.
Which you kind of didn't need to because a shorter version of that was in the
everything.
intro. Yeah,
they went and recapped everything. Yeah.
But it was,
those were separate. I didn't realize that.
I enjoy stuff like that. They were all short, and it's nice because there's like I think there's like 8 or 9 of them, one for like each year between seasons.
Yes.
But they would show their version of the newsreel, and then at the end of it, they would show what actually happened that year.
Oh, where's that? I hadn't seen it.
That's
on
Apple.
Apple.
Bring up the episodes. It's right below the episodes.
Yeah, it's down like where the trailers
I didn't
are.
see that.
And
I just
you'll
thought
see
it was
that they're
the
numbered
recap.
by year, and they're actually. I think they're good, and they're only like a minute and a half or so.
Yeah, the
all
longest one was like 2
they're
minutes.
News broadcasts, and it helps kind of. I think for people who didn't live through all this stuff like we did, I think it's probably a lot more important.
It helps explain that Gary Hart's president.
Gary Hart is president, and
yeah. So Reagan was president for what? 2 terms?
2 terms.
2 terms,
and then it was who was it really? It was Bush.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Was
they
it
had
Bush?
Gary Hart in there.
Yeah,
Bush,
Gary Hart instead.
Hart beat Bush in this reality. So
Yeah.
Did you catch the very quick Beatles reunion thing? That
yes,
So,
Beatles reunion.
Beatles reunion tour, and they had this giant crowd there. That was
Which
great.
they saved John Lennon. God bless them.
Oh yeah, because they did in last year. Season they
last
did.
year,
Also-
last season he didn't die.
Right, and you remember, and it's got to be so awesome for the people writing this thing. Like, oh, you know what I would do? But interesting, who Gary Hart's vice president is Al Gore.
Yeah.
So they dragged up all this footage of an even younger Al Gore as Gary Hart's vice president. So if Clinton does end up winning, it'll be interesting to see who he picks as a VP. So,
Well, it's interesting that the character, the astronaut character, is running against him.
it is. And,
Right. In an era where something's going to come out about her that's probably going to cause her the election.
Well,
Yeah, probably.
I think that's what's going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a woman and a Republican to begin with, and which
Yeah,
No.
spoiler alert, we're dancing around something we don't need to dance around. In the first 2 seasons of the show, it's made very clear that she's a lesbian, but she's keeping that quiet.
or had been.
So.
I assume it's
Had
still
been.
the case.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I don't know if you can get away with being a senator and keeping it that quiet, but yeah, that will be interesting to see where they go from there. Again, so glad to see Molly still alive, even though
yeah.
And still feisty, yeah.
it's still feisty as
Feisty,
ever.
yeah.
I love the smoking thing. She's, smoking's banned on site. She should put up a sign. She's blind. It was great. And
Yeah, it's so all the stuff that goes on in the space hotel. Once they realize that there's a problem with the gravity, like from that moment forward, I thought it was a just amazing episode.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to dig into all that stuff, and it was a lot of serious crap.
yeah. Yes.
I do think they have bits and pieces of more modern technology than you had at those times, but I feel like
think of all the things we've gotten from the space program, Dave.
I thought it should be a little up. I mean, if the space program really started in the 60s and continued, I think we'd have much more advanced stuff.
I think
than
we would
have.
too. I mean, I also
Was that a
love
Newton?
how
that
they had a
were
Newton,
called?
which is awesome. Yes, I have a Newton, and I was like, yes, they're using a Newton, and with obviously something else inserted inside it because the screen was much better than my Newton's ever been. I thought that was cool. They very much modeled that space station after 2001.
Oh, totally.
But I love that they put all that effort into building all those curved corridors and stuff. And
Yeah, that was cool.
And that was terrific.
I mean, the whole thing seemed very much like the Sandra Bullock space movie, where the little piece of the rocket that exploded in space caused
this is
this
what
problem,
happens,
but-
though. I mean, the biggest threat in space is debris.
Yeah.
And you would have thought if you're putting a $1 billion hotel up there, you would have figured something out. I don't know what. I don't know what that could be, but
I did like the fact that while it was debris, it caused a tiny little thing, which then escalated into a bigger thing.
They actually track debris and move satellites up and down in orbit to avoid because it's not like floating. It's a constant path.
there is a ton of junk up there.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, but that's
You would have thought they would have put it in a different orbit, you know.
But
The
again,
scenes with the giant cables flying around though, and scraping the hull.
That was crazy.
All of that stuff was just so well done.
It was so well done. Okay, so who's Mars Commander?
Well, it's got to be Poole now, or the kid.
I think it's the kid.
He may be too young. What's his face?
It's
Would he
still
break his leg?
still several years away.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the kid. I think, and I did not think for a second he was dead when that cable hit him.
Oh no.
Okay,
No, me either.
Because it was like, no, you're not going to end the previous season with his parents dying, doing the last minute rescue, and him dying under the same circumstances.
But when that thing came out of like nowhere and hits him, like I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, it was great.
Does he hook up with Karen now that her husband's dead?
I think the alternate title for this episode was Karen just can't get a break. Because, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a great episode. I'm excited to see where it's going. I mean, just such good stuff.
How old has Ed got to be at this point?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
50s?
I was a little surprised they were in the running.
I think they said he was in his 50s.
It's got to be at least in his 50s. I can't see him being mission commander for a Mars mission that's still like 3 years in the future.
So what year is it exactly? 90.
Is it 91 or 92? Somewhere in there, right?
It's 92. If there's a yes.
Wait.
No, wait a minute. 80. Reagan was elected in 80, 84, 88, 92. It's 92. So
what was the next election? Was the next
92
election?
is what I'm saying. So they're talking 95.
Or maybe it's 91 then?
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was
91,
I thought it was 95.
but I'm saying that the election year is 92. So they're still 4 years away from this. So they're gonna jump some time, anyways. I would think on this episode because we're gonna definitely see boots on the ground.
Yeah, so he's then okay. So if it's 92, he could be he could have been less than 30 in 70. He could have been 30-ish.
Yep.
So he's at least 52. He could be younger. 48 to 52.
Somewhere in there.
And okay, he got like banged up, on this space station, but also he was like giving himself those injections that we were supposed to see.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's in as good shape as he's presenting. Yeah. So it's still awesome though. I've loved this show so much.
Yeah, I'm just glad to have it back.
Yeah. Really excited to see where they go with it.
Yep, for sure.
So, and yes, still mourning Tracy. Just saying. Gordo too.
I had forgotten. I mean, I remembered how the season ended, but I had forgotten some of the details. And when I watched the recap, I'm like, that's right. They freaking wrapped themselves in duct tape to run across the surface of the moon.
And here's the thing. So, Gordo was actually an important part of the show because he was kind of the guy you could associate with. It's like Baldwin is just kind of like, but he's a, I mean, you don't want to say like an everyman kind of guy, but as an astronaut, he was more relatable than, I think most of these people.
For sure.
And not having that character. And I think it'd be interesting. They've got to bring some new people in, definitely. So, and I'm sure we'll see that. So.
Let's do either what's in the box or what's on my workbench.
Okay.
Barry, what do you got?
I have my Comptono from Disney Galaxy's Edge. I got it from the Disney shop website. It's a little undersized.
Big.
It's a little undersized from I think what it would have been on the show.
So it's more like the size of a chicken bucket than a. It
looks bigger than I thought. A large popcorn.
Yeah.
Here's what I didn't. Yeah, it's big.
It looks bigger than that.
But here's the thing I didn't realize even when I bought it. It's actually, they call it a safe, and it comes with a programmable keypad that you program a code sequence into. You set the code, and then you can use that to open it.
Okay, Barry, it is made of what?
It's plastic.
Okay, so little tip.
And you
don't
can
put
pick
anything
it up and
valuable
carry
in the
it away,
plastic
but-
safe that has a handle on it. Okay.
And it's got a light on the inside.
What do you have stored inside?
That's awesome.
It's really cool. I just have the instructions in there right
okay.
now. But it's really well done.
I need this. I need this for my office. I do.
The fact that it's I think it's under $50 at the parks. I got it directly from the Disney website. I think it was like $46 and free shipping.
They sold out though, right?
Yeah, they did. But I mean, worth every. Before I knew this was going up on the Shop Disney site, I was looking at it on eBay and they were $200, and I almost bought one.
And that's tough to get home too. That is not something you can easily. I guess you can carry it on.
Right, but they shipped it for free, and I love it. It's weathered and it's chipped up, and it's just really really well done for what it is. So I'm super happy to have it.
That's
anyway.
cool.
Awesome.
Todd, what's in the box?
Okay, so I think I told you guys about this. So StarTrek.com had a sale. I wanted like a generic Star Trek hat. And so I got this one, and which no one can see. It's just got the regular logo on it, with kind of probably like movie era logo with a circle around it.
Next gen movie era.
No, this is what was on the belts in in like Wrath of Khan. That was when they went to that circle. Okay. And so then this particular one came with a monogram. You could have it personalized, and I just was not into the idea of walking around with my name on the back of my Star Trek hat. So I had them put "Boldly Go" on the back of it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and so it's a good
Is that
hat to
white
wear
or
today
silver?
I have bike helmet hair, and I can cover that up. And then this was on sale too, and I've almost bought this like 5 times, but it was cheap, and so I got this.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So it's the NX-01 crew hat, and it's good. It doesn't have any other stuff written on it. It just looks like the duty hat, and
yeah, I've looked at that a bunch of times.
I
too.
still remember Enterprise. It's kind of the redhead stepchild of the Star Trek series.
Not the worst series.
No, I enjoyed it.
But I enjoyed it, and I liked it, and so. I like
that hat.
That's not a bad hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the hat you showed us first, what color is the logo and the writing on the back? Is it white or silver?
I think it's yes, it's exactly. I think it's white, but it looks very silver. Okay. I think it might be somewhere in between the two. So,
I have a Star Trek JJ movie hat that just has sort of almost like that little outline that's on the coffee cup.
Oh, I like that.
Sort of.
I would have bought that. I would have bought that.
But it does have. I think it's in my closet over there. But I think it does say Star Trek on the back or something.
Yeah.
That's
No.
Well, yeah, we could have those made.
One of Darwin's favorite things to chew is hats. So he got another one of mine a couple weeks ago. So this is good. This will be like a normal rotation hat. I'll wear that, and this one will be more like hang it up. But it's the NX-01 hat. But yeah. And they were super cheap because of the sale. Dave, what do you got?
All right, I'm doing what's in the box. No, I'm not doing what's in the box. I'm doing what's on my workbench. I previously did what's on my workbench, but now it's finished. This is the Strange New Worlds communicator that I 3D printed.
Cool.
So there it is. So this guy Limey Builds designs everything from a lot of Star Trek stuff, and he puts them up on this thing called, I think, CG Trader, where he puts his digital designs and you can buy them. I think it was $15. He does an amazing job. So I printed them. I think I showed you guys the raw castings. I have reprinted them because I just didn't have the settings right when I did the printing, and I actually texted or whatever, however I IM'd with him, and he gave me some tips. And then I think I showed you I printed everything up. Straight up and down, which you can do with resin printing, and then he gives you 2 antennas. One's sort of normal, and the one's extra thick. The problem with resin is it sort of does not hold its perfect shape all the time, so the thicker one was needed. But anyway,
how does that compare to the one on the show? Is it that thick, or is it thicker than it would be?
I have a really good close-up of the one that was at the Paley Center. That's brass, actually brass. And this is much more like it.
Okay. I was really shocked
to
see
it's actually
that.
Sorry, it's the mesh that's thicker, not the surround, not
the
bezel.
It is the mesh. This whole piece
so
here
the bezel is consistent, but the mesh isn't. So
I was just shocked to see in that video that the moire was done with an iPod Nano that they put inside the freaking communicators.
Somebody took this build, 3D printed it, and put a Nano in it. And I'm like, I'm just making this static because I really had a hell of a time. If I make us all one or do something, I learned a lot on this one. Because I think I've printed. There's 3 major parts: the top, the bottom, and the antenna. I printed the antenna and the top like 4 times. It's just like getting everything dialed in. But once
the
you do it,
the middle section and the dial around the moire, did you do those in color or did you paint those?
These are, he gives you printouts. These are literally like printed out on my...
No, I'm talking about the silver ring and then the silver band around the center
painted.
of it. Oh, okay, so it's not like it's silver resin or
no, what's interesting... No,
filament.
I don't know if there is silver resin. I did see somebody print this on a filament printer, and they use... Todd, have you heard of this? It's called silk filament, and the gold looks gold.
Oh, yes.
So this guy printed the silver and the gold in this resin with nothing was painted, and it really looked great.
You've got to get the temperature just right, though.
Yeah.
Because it will look molten, and it'll be cloudy and stuff. But when you dial in and you get it just right, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, this guy did that, and it printed it. And I mean, honestly, I don't see printing, especially this antenna, in filament. I mean, geez, it looks like that would be
you have a lot of cleanup to do.
There's a lot of cleanup, but anyway, I'm happy with it and finally done. And I just a lot of things I had to tweak, but once you really get it printed right, it needs just a little sanding and some paint and glue it together, and that's it. I'm gonna do the phaser next because he does have a phaser, and I think it will print on my printer.
I love the design of that phaser.
If I could get them printed, maybe you'll paint them.
Yeah, sure. I would be happy if a company made a good replica of that too. Like, doesn't have to be one company, but it would be nice. Doesn't have to be master replicas or whatever. EFX. Yeah, I would love to get one in aluminum. The thing is, once they have those patterns, I think they can turn those things out of aluminum probably. So like,
I know somebody on one of the groups had the antenna sent and had it printed in metal. I mean, you could have. There's company. I mean, Shapeways will print stuff in metal. I mean, it's not. I mean, you get something printed in gold if you really want it to. It'll cost you a fortune, but
but it's even if replicating a really good version of it costs you $300-400, it'd still be worth it as long as it looks as good as you want it to.
I've seen some of these resin printed phasers that look amazing.
Yeah,
it's really the paint job. I mean, the resin itself. Is as long as you print it right, it's pretty solid.
Well, we'll have to work on that.
Yes. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Ghostbusters is getting a sequel. They're saying.
I read today that they're getting 3 sequels.
Oh, really? I didn't.
And I also read that they're bringing it back to New York.
Yeah, it's called the working title is Firehouse.
I
don't know.
I mean, not surprising given the post-credit sequence in the last movie.
Next week, we probably should do the prop store auction, because it is next week.
Yeah, that's true.
And for those of us who are huge bidders, you get the pamphlet. Actually, for those small-time bidders, I get a pamphlet. I do not justify getting the catalog for free.
I heard, and I actually have to look and see if this is online so I can download it, but I heard there's a supplemental catalog, like mini catalog, just for the X-Wing with a lot of pictures of it.
Oh, I did hear that.
So I'd love to get one of those just for the photo reference.
Wonder Woman bracelets from the original series. $25,000 to $35,000 estimate. That's less than 5 years ago. Those would be $5,000.
But you can clone Linda Carter from.
I was just going to say, think that there's probably Linda Carter.
I think for that money, she would give you spit into a cup for you, right? I mean, she seems lovely on Instagram. But anyway,
I saw today that you can get a cameo from Michael Anthony, the bass player of Van Halen, for $150. So
that's a bargain.
It's a bargain.
I have looked on Cameo. If you can get that,
maybe you can get Linda Carter to spit into a cup for you. Who knows?
I've gone on Cameo, I've ranked it from lowest to highest, and I wanted to find the first person I actually knew who they were and get something from them. But it took quite a while. There's pages of people you've never heard of.
What was interesting was he had different price points. It was for a person, it was like $150, but if it was for a company or a business, it was like $500 something.
Good. It should be that way.
Yeah. No, I was surprised to see the tiered pricing, but it makes sense. I've never used Cameo, so
neither have I.
Yeah, I played for you the message that my former coworker Jason did for me.
That one was great.
Yep. Kevin Conroy.
Our indie guns have the wrong handle. We should have them.
Bird. They've got the bird's head handle.
Yeah, that could be fixed.
Yeah.
But anyway, more on that next week. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.